If it's knowledge, humour, or a different perspective that you seek, look for the wisdom in the words that we speak. Words and wisdom. We'll let you decide. Hello and welcome to Words and Wisdom with your co-host Zach Andrew Purdy.
And Big Mike.
Big Mike, I'm having
Not
it.
Stormzy.
Let's have you.
not, oh my God, it's Big Mikey.
This is a podcast where we talk all things the mind, the body, the soul, and everything in between. Today's topic, we're going to try and talk about failures because I think me and you, Zach, can really equate and talk about failure in depth because I've made a lot in my time.
What would you say a failure
many.
is then, Mikey? Because when do you fail? When is it failure?
So, for example, I can give a good example. When I was doing the podcast, I used to get everything ready. I always want to do my best and I want to have it right. But there'll be times where with film, when you make a mistake or a failure, it's quite big, really, because you go back in somebody's time, they've come over to your farm, they've come and sat down on the bush, you've had an hour of chat, and then you look at the camera and it's like, I filmed it in all slow-mo. You can't really get that back. I can't put that up then. And the content, there's been times on this where I've just pressed the wrong button, not knowing what I was doing, and it's not recorded properly. So it's like all crackly and like this, and I can't use that then. People don't want to hear it. So I've wasted, I feel, people's time within that. The person that's come over, they've always been really understandable. And I'm like, no, be angry at me. Tell me off. But I'll go in and we can go to anger there. I'll look and I'm like, oh, fuck, I've messed up. I've done everything wrong again. And I'll build a little self of, I never get it right. I'm just always wrong. I'm an idiot, X, Y, and Z. And I go down that path of it. But I've never really done it again. I've learnt from it every time and I'm really tenacious. Like every time I do it, I'll ring around, I'll speak to people in the filming industry, in the music industry, and what have I done? What have I done? Please help me out. And they'll give me that little bit of something. And because it hurt so much, because I felt, oh God, what I really don't want to let somebody down like that again, I'll make sure, like you've seen today, and every time we do it, I'm double checking, triple checking, making sure, because I just don't want to feel that emotion that it gives me.
Yeah, of course. So in that case, failure is a positive thing. Mm-hmm. Failure is definitely a positive thing in that respect. And I think I see it as two different ways of saying it, I think, is like you can say a failure. So like, I am a failure or this was a failure.
Yeah.
Or you can fail to do something. So you failed to prepare because you didn't know what to do, really.
Yeah.
You failed to prepare so that it came out wrong. But then from it coming out wrong, it wasn't a failure because you learnt from it.
And you have to make those mistakes, though, because how could I have known what to prepare for? Like, in that moment, yes, there is a way of doing it, but without trying it and without pressing that button and trying that out, I would never have got there.
And that's the main principle of this podcast is you need to fail. Failure is so important. Failure and success go hand in hand. You can't have success without failing once or twice. But you see, I see it in a different way. I don't believe, because I was trying to think earlier, before the podcast, so I can talk about some of my failures. But my brain doesn't think like that. I don't believe I've had any failures. Now, when I look back, I can see that there's things that didn't go right, but I only believe that I will fail if I quit and I give up. That's the only time I will ever fail in life, ever. So, I've had a boot camp, a physical in-person boot camp that didn't go the way I wanted it to, and eventually I cut it off.
Yeah.
Was that a failure? No, because I learned so much from it, and the people out of it got, lots of value, but it didn't go where I wanted it to. Again, it's not a failure because now I can take what I know and I can run it into a new boot camp and grow it that way. And I just don't believe in failure in a weird way. I don't believe it.
Well, thinking of it though, when you do battle on and you are tenacious with it, like Steve Jobs, he didn't just one day sit in his office, go, I'm going to do an iPhone. Oh, here, look how great it is. Everybody go with that. They must have had to make a million different prototypes, but the 1,000,001th is the one that went right. So you have to sort of feel stuff like when you in a craft, especially with, I can keep going from filmmaking or poetry, you have to get onto stages and try things out and things don't work. And yeah, it doesn't have to be seen as a failure or I failed. You just need to see it as, oh, I've learned something. I can take something else to go with.
Yeah, you grow from it. And because you like to talk about music and poetry, because that's your forte. My forte is the body and muscle. So it's like in the gym, if you're trying to build muscle, you take that muscle to almost complete failure. Sometimes you take it to complete failure and past. But by going to failure and then resting after that failure, your muscle grows, gets stronger, comes back thicker. And it's the same thing with you. You fail, you might need to take a few days off after failing at something like, you know, a podcast or something that you're passionate about, just to think, oh, well, I failed at that and I feel down. Rest, recover, come back stronger with that new knowledge.
I mean, I can go with it. I go into schools, and this is the first exercise I take into every school. So what we do is get all the kids to sit down, and then I get them to close their eyes, and they've got to draw a picture of their face, and they love it. They're like, okay, oh God, my nose over here, over there, and I do it with them. And I go round and I'll watch what every kid's doing, and I've done this in groups of like 200. So I'm looking around and I'm trying to keep eyes on everything. And there'll be so many children that are like that, and they just have to look. And I was get everybody to look, and they go, right, open your eyes, and they're like, hilarious. And then we look back at our work, and I go, right, let's look at this. I really like these like crazy faces that we've created, but be honest, who cheated? Who wanted to look? And everyone puts their hand up. And this one kid I'll never forget literally went, why did you look? Why did you cheat? Because you knew the rules, but you needed to look down and see what you're doing. And he literally said, I didn't want to be wrong. I was scared to be wrong, and he didn't want to make a mistake. And I've had a kid cry before doing it.
Really?
And I said, what's up? And he's like, I can't do it. I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to do. And it's constantly building into these young people. Every time in life you try something, you're going to make a mistake. It doesn't have to be perfect. You've got to make these mistakes. And again, we can go in blind. We have a crazy face at the end of it, and we can go, let's colour it out, let's edit, let's make it looking cool. Yeah. And you can look into it with a different perspective.
With that picture, you can say, right, let's do it again, guys, and this time, don't worry about the outcome and just enjoy it. And then they might do it, and they might do it better the second time because they've already got an understanding of what went wrong the first time.
Keep building into it.
I like that. That's a beautiful concept. It's a really nice
exercise,
really like
man.
That.
I'll tell you one more from a DT teacher, and it was this guy, and he had this classroom, and there was like inequality within it with like the levels of intellect and things like that. But there was these kids that were like, we know it all. And there was these kids like, we know nothing. But he built this little circuit up, and he was like talking to them. He'd bring them across and say, right, what do we need to know from this? What do we need to know? They go away, try it out. They get all the bits. Nobody could do it. And then they got frustrated. They were feeling this, oh, why can't I do it? Come back, he'd talk again. They'd talk, go away, get bits. Couldn't do it. And then at the end, he just went, I forgot to give you this bit. And he had this little battery in that everyone needed. And then because they felt frustration, because they felt like, how do we get there? How do we accomplish this? Why isn't it working? It was really good for them because they were thinking this way. They were thinking laterally rather than, yep, done, perfect. Right, what next? Life's never like that. Yeah. Life's full of clumsiness and mistakes.
Life constantly keeps the battery from us. And we have to figure out what's missing. Well, you won't know what's missing until you go forward and fail a few times. And I think as a kid, I've got this memory of I was trying to cook with my grandma, and I couldn't get it right the first time or whatever. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm crap at this. And she's like, no, you keep trying until you get better, and blah blah blah, and this, that, and everything else. And I think it's just part of growing up is learning these things that we need to fail, and not. We sometimes fail. I think failure and rejection go hand in hand as well. Like we're scared of failure because we don't want to get rejected by society or by people or about our ideas. But once you've been through failure and rejection a few times, like me growing up as a kid, I got rejected by females all the time because I was a weird kid, mate, with a bald head and a fat stomach. No one wants that. So I got rejected time after time, not just by females, but by people I wanted to be friends with, by all sorts of things. But by doing that, I'm not scared of rejection anymore. I'll go up to somebody and give my ideas or ask for the number if I find that appropriate at the time. And I'm not scared of them saying no or failing in any way. So, and I think you need to keep doing it until eventually you become like tenacious and mental fortitude.
Just finding areas where failure, but I'll do that in the lightest of terms, and mistakes are integral, and implementing that in your life, like with sport as well, like boxing. When I was into boxing, I'd go to different like gyms and we'd have sparring sessions, and I felt I'd failed because everything that I'd put into the practices and learning the pad work and everything, I'd go and under pressure, oh no, just cover up, and they popped me off, and I couldn't move the way I was moving before, and I felt I'd failed. But I was in high pressured situations all the time when I was in these gyms, and then again, my coach would see me and be like, stop getting angry, you're learning, you're not in a big stage right now, this is all part of the process. And I go again to the next gym, and I start to just, like what we said with diet in the last podcast, implement different things. So it's like, right, when you had your guard down here, just start holding it a bit higher and just popping the jab out a bit. And it was like, right, I use that experience, and life's just full of different experiences, and just keep using them.
Well, if we was perfect the first time round on everything, life would be pretty boring, because anybody that's ever achieved anything they set out to achieve knows that feeling of, oh, that was good, doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
It's the journey, it's the progress.
Mate.
Focus on enjoying the journey. And enjoying the failures, and look what I learned. Oh, look at that! And stop thinking about trying to be perfect all the time, because when you get there, and if you do get there, it's very, very, very lonely and boring. And it's like, well, I mean, I got 6-pack abs, look shredded, 3-4 weeks ago, and I got there, and for a week it was cool, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool, a couple of pictures here and there for the gram, and I was like, right, okay, I'm hungry now, and I'm missing my food. I was like, you know what, I'm not that interested in the actual, I just enjoyed the journey of getting there, and that's something that we need to.
I like this quote, and it said like, allow yourself to make mistakes and know which ones to keep.
Yeah,
and I think that's really quite beautiful.
That's the quote of the
take
day.
them on. I remember just the other day, right, from what you were saying there as well, me and Chrissy play Tekken.
Yeah.
And if we just keep going through and just go punch here, kick there, oh, next boss. But we got to the last boss, and honestly, it took us 2-3 days to get through it, and we were like really on it, getting so agitated, get the bars going down to there, and you're like, oh no, he's killed us again. And the moment we did it, like Chrissy was just button bashing and just like, the moment he went, we literally jumped in the air, celebrated, hugged. I was like, yeah. You'd never get that feeling if it was just like, right, killed him.
Yeah, of course.
Killed him.
And also, once you killed the boss, how much more did you want to play after that? Was you like, oh,
we were completed. I did feel quite comfortable after that. I was like, right,
mate, I would bore you off on Tekken. I'm just going to say this on air. we should do a podcast where we're playing Tekken against each other. But I will kick your ass at Tekken.
Seriously,
mate.
Who's your character, man?
I can kick your ass with most of them.
Any of them?
I've just got the ability. Fighting games, I've got the ability to like.
Really?
Yeah, because it's all patterns.
Are you button bashing or?
No.
You know your little.
I know a few bits and bobs, but I know how to. It's all about timing on fighting games. Some fighting games are faster, some are slower.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to play Tekken.
I'm ready, mate.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to see me versus Mikey on Tekken, leave us a comment below, and shit is going down.
Guys,
get aggressive.
Allow yourself to make mistakes and know which ones to keep.
Peace, love, prosperity. We're out.
Peace out, guys.